he can't stand her guts, and he has the ability to put her in jail, but he chooses not to because that's not going to help the nation move forward, right?
Yeah.
In other words,
and look what it fucking got him.
Well, in other words, he realizes that it's better for the nation for him to run the risk of not being elected, of all of these bad ads, of all of these lies being told about him and everything. Like, he's okay with that to a certain level because it's better for the nation to not see the wife of a former president go to prison for the rest of their life.
Well, first off, that's wrong.
In the same conversation, right? That's been my
I'm just saying,
my headache with the Republican Party forever is the Democratic Party fights dirty and the Republican Party tries to fight fair.
Yeah.
And when you try to see the middle through all of that, you end up leaning Democrat because the Democrats fighting so dirty. And so like a person who is of the age where they don't think for themselves yet, where they have a hard time formulating their own thoughts, they haven't had enough life experience. That's why they tend to lean Democrat, is because they see all the slanted stuff that way and they don't see life for what it really is, holding people accountable and all of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's because they don't want to be held accountable.
Right.
You know what I mean? They want to feel like they can be free and frolic and we'll all be happy utopian society bullshit, and that just is not reality.
Right.
This is nature, man.
Yeah.
Nature nurture. I mean, what the fuck are you going to do?
Right. Right.
Like until you reach that epitome, the real problem is people don't want to be held accountable for their own actions or be responsible for their own growth, their own goals, their own achievement. They want it to be easy.
Right.
And so there's this false sense of, if I vote for them, life will be easier.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's just not
true.
It's not the truth.
Right.
It's not the truth. There's not a successful socialist country in the world. There never has been, there never will be.
Right.
Like they're just
look at Venezuela.
Yeah. It's impossible. You can't do it. There will always be dirty players.
Yeah.
It's just once people realize that, we'll be okay. The problem is I don't know if people will ever actually realize that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of tough because people can be so easily brainwashed, right? If you have a business that was allowed to grow because of a Democratic policy, you're going to side the Democratic ticket because the Democratic policy is the reason you were successful.
Well, it's the same thing as unions. People that were in the union and it actually did well and they moved forward and everything, they're like, nope, I got to vote Democrat because the union put me in the place I am now. And if everyone else would just do what I did,
right,
and be in the union and vote Democrat, we could all get this.
Yeah.
And that's just not reality. It's a physical impossibility.
Meanwhile, 4 years ago, Biden is on camera telling the union, I don't work for you. And then his first day in office fires 2,000 of them from the Keystone Pipeline.
I know, man.
Right? But yet they'll still have allegiance to that party because the union was a Democratic creation.
Did you see that fucking bullshit in Chicago with Pepsi?
Mm-mm.
So Pepsi shut down a factory in Chicago with no notice. And they're all union workers. It's like 150 of them work there or whatever. 75 will be on for a little while. Some of them, and they're going to get severance till like December 28th. This just happened.
Okay, that's 2 months of severance.
That's a long time.
Yep.
And the whole article is everyone's crushing them because, how could a major corporation like that, we're we're under union contract and this and that, and they're just crushing them, right? And they're like, well, it's a 65-year-old building that we've outgrown the building. We can't do it. We're going to try to help everybody. This doesn't, and they're getting crushed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a president comes in to an oil factory and says, 2,000 of you, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
No one says 2 fucking words a week later.
Yeah. Yeah.
These people are bitching over 150. 75 of them are still working. 75 are going to get severance
for
2 months.
Yeah.
But 2,000 in Pennsylvania just got fucked. Yeah. And then how are people in Pennsylvania not going to vote Republican?
Right.
After they were lied to.
Right.
2,000 families were thrown out on the fucking street.
Yeah.
Because you want to clean up America. Fuck you.
Right. And ultimately that comes down to people making emotional decisions instead of procedural decisions, right? Like, I love the baiting social media posts, and these never go anywhere. You'll never see me do one, where it's like, Kamala supporters, tell me one policy of hers that you really are excited for her to implement, right?
Legalized abortion everywhere. You know she doesn't have that power, right? What do you mean?
Yeah. Well, and
what do you mean?
That's really about the only one they could do.
Yeah.
But even
still,
then, the Kamala supporters
fallacy.
are silent because, like, I really don't truly believe. I bet only 10% of the votes for Kamala are actually in support of her policies and her leadership and her guidance. I bet 90% of the votes for Kamala are because it's a vote against Trump.
Against Trump or against abortion.
Or vibes.
Or for abortion, I should say.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misspoke there.
And so, it's just silly. Like
it's not silly. It's fucking insane.
And
it's
also too,
blatant stupidity, man.
Like, I may get flamed up for this, but I mean, it's my honest opinions and it's my show, so fuck it.
First off, it's our show.
But
where's my invite?
You're getting paid, bitch.
I don't.
I was making fun of you.
I don't understand why. I don't understand why abortion is such a hot topic when it affects so few of us. Like, don't get me wrong. I definitely think there are biblical implications to abortion, and there's a lot of modern era tied into biblical times and all of these things.
Are you talking why are people so flamed up that don't do it, basically?
What I'm saying is you take 100, like, I don't know the stats. I'm gonna run on an assumption here. You take 100 people that have a staunch opinion about abortions. How many of them have ever encountered the issues that directly of abortion? How many of them have been raped and gotten pregnant, and then had to make a choice? How many of them have been molested and incest and then had to make a choice? How many of them had a baby that was like, it's either your life or the mother's life, or the baby's life or the mother's life, and had to make a choice?
It's not that people are. I know the answer to this. People do not like being told what to do with their own health. That's really the thing. They could agree that abortion is horrible and still vote yes on 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's because they don't want to be told what to do or how to do, just in the event that their daughter or someone they know has to deal, or a family they know has to deal with it.
Right.
They don't want to be told no. It's the same thing as the vaccine. That's what drives me insane. My body, my choice. And I've always been a staunch...
But yeah, we tried to force vaccines on everybody.
That's my point.
Yeah.
The hypocrisy is insane.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with, like, I find this with gun issues, okay? There is not a constitutional amendment that says anything about abortion, but the Second Amendment is I get to have a gun however I see fit, however the fuck I want. Mm-hmm. It's in the Constitution, an actual amendment.
Believe it or not, it's actually that you can have all weaponry that the military has.
I know. You're not telling me anything new. But my point is,
I'm just reminding for our listeners that we're already getting a watered down version of gun control from what's in the Constitution.
Yeah, I know. And it's like, but those people that are so, and I keep bringing up the word hypocrisy because it's just so true. Like, they will want abortion and be able to have their own free rights to something that's not even in the Constitution, and then something that is in the Constitution, they want to tell me no.
Right.
And like, my heart is on fire about it.
Yeah.
Just like theirs is with that.
Yeah.
I guess is my answer to why you don't understand how people can be so fired up and vote for stuff like that.
Well, I guess
because they don't like being told that they can't control their own health.
Right. I guess I have a hard time understanding why somebody would let such a rare issue make such a big deal and such an impact on their voting decision. In other words, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that Trump has a really good economic policy and Kamala doesn't.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
And so, like,
why would you let Why would you let that one thing?
Why would you let the one thing that's
things?
So rare that is not likely for you to encounter personally? Why would you let that control the outcome of your decision when there's 9 other topics that will have
Yeah.
a far greater impact on your life than the abortion one.
You're letting 10% control 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
You're tripping over a dollar to save a dime. Right.
Yeah.
And
I do wonder that too. That does drive me insane.
The
Like,
issue
why?
voters. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it. There are some people that are very religious, and so they have a very hardcore belief, and that's like a hard boundary for them. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, there's somebody that was raped and had to get an abortion, so that's a hard boundary for them. Okay. I just can't believe that there's that many people out there that are willing to turn blinders to all the other things and hang their vote up on that.